So I'm making a game that combines the fast-paced, level-based platforming of Super Mario Bros. With the destructible terrain of Terraria and the systems-based level design of Spelunky. Hi, I'm Alan, and this is my game Fool's End. I've been working on it for just over a year now. It's the first game I've ever made, and I'm making it on Game Maker. So the initial concept for the game was based on the pickaxe mechanic in Spelunky. And in Spelunky, players can find a mattock or a pickaxe which can break tiles around them and allows you to create your own paths to exits. However, in Spelunky, you only get this item very rarely and only depending on very niche circumstances. So I want to create a game that you always had a pickaxe and the pickaxe was your main mechanic. So this means that players are able to destroy platforms while platforming. I quickly found that this lent into a more puzzle platformer style of game than traditional Spelunky does. So I decided to make all the manuals manually and not procedurally generated like Spelunky is. Now, yes, part of this is because I don't know how to do procedurally generated levels yet. I understand how Derek Yu does it, but I don't think I'm quite capable of doing it yet. But I do genuinely also think that handmade puzzles make for a better player experience. So I then began designing the tile types that would fit in these kind of levels. Things like rocks, dirt, sand, lava, and one of the ideas was jumping pads, jumping tiles. But they're a key example of something that didn't make it into the game because it just doesn't fit my game's design philosophy, which is everything must interact with everything in appropriate ways. Anything that can kill the player should also be able to kill enemies, and vice versa. Anything that can be anything can be destroyed in the game. Absolutely anything, whether that's the tiles, the enemies themselves, the rocks, everything. There's nothing in the game that can't be destroyed. So yeah, the jumping pad just didn't really fit into this design philosophy at all. And it kind of just felt more like a platformer cliche that I was adhering to rather than a consistent part of my world design. And players still have the ability to ledge hang, to climb up to the top of levels if they want to anyway, so jumping tiles kind of ended up feeling redundant. So here's what the game looked like at the first prototype stage. Pretty rough around the edges, but still similar and familiar in a lot of ways to where it is now. One key change is the player's speed and the way that the player moves. I've added a sprint function now, but the player speed by default is much, much, much slower and more deliberate than it was at this point. You can see it's quite jerky and you just fly all over the place this version. So there are three themed sets of levels, or tongue twister. 3 themed sets of levels in my game: the caves, the jungle, and Egypt. I've got tiles and enemy types for each of these areas, all unique. Some reappearing throughout all the themes, but you'll see more about that later. Yeah, I've been working on the Egyptian levels at the moment, adding new enemies. The one I've been working on most recently is the Phoenix Egg, which I'll be doing a full vlog on soon. Most of the levels involve you as the player trying to find your way down a mineshaft. However, your character can only dig sideways, so you've got to use what you know about the game's systems to find your way down each level without dying. Some of the levels subvert this pattern by making you find your way up or navigate sideways. A popular favourite is the Shook Ones level in the jungle, which makes players run horizontally at breakneck speed to avoid oncoming lava. Speaking of lava, if you take too long in a level, lava will start pouring from the sky. This was designed as a way to tell the player to hurry up and get to the end of a level, without forcing instant death upon them. This is important because some levels can be cheesed if the player decides to try break every tile and find the exit that way. That is a viable way of playing, and it's something I do encourage amongst players, but I couldn't let it come without a risk or a cost. So the lava burns all non-stone tiles, destroying paths and platforms and killing the player if it makes contact with them. So when the lava starts pouring down from the top, it's a huge impetus for the player to hurry up and find the exit. You can do what you want until then, but once the lava starts falling, you really have to start thinking about getting to the exit now. The lava physics are pretty similar to Minecraft, where it creates more lava if there isn't any lava nearby, and will burn anything underneath and then create lava underneath it, etc, etc. The levels are pretty short for the most part, take around 30 seconds each to complete, hence the lava pouring at around the 30-second mark for most levels. However, the player is expected to die a lot, despite the short levels. You will die in expected and unexpected ways, really. Although I do think all the death methods are fair and can be quite funny when they stack up in chain, and you know, you see yourself get poisoned by a snake and then impaled on a rock and then burnt by lava in the space of 2 seconds. The latest playtester I had finished all 20 levels in the current build with only 40 deaths, which is quite impressive, but I'd say the average is probably about double that, maybe 70 or 80 deaths per player to finish the game. So yeah, currently my main mission is to finish 30 levels in the game, meaning 10 levels in each zone. Potentially a boss fight for each. Now I've got one boss fight complete for the caves. I'm still trying to determine whether it's worth making 2 more bosses. They do take a lot of work, but they do add a bit of variation to the game that's not found elsewhere. The ultimate goal is to get Fool's End launched on Steam before the year's end. That's been my goal since day one, is to have this game on Steam, and now a year in, I've really got to start looking at getting that ticked off and done. So as I said, yeah, Fool's End's been a year in the making, and now I'm getting close to see the finish line. I wanted to bring more people aboard to show off what I've been cooking here. There are many other design decisions and cool mechanics in the game that I'm looking forward to exploring in other videos, but for now I'll just leave it as it is. Yeah, the best thing you can do now is to subscribe to the Pickle Cactus Games YouTube channel. If you want to check out an early version of Fool's End, I have a demo on itch.io that you can download, it's in the description. You can also check out the subreddit, it's in the description as well. I post updates and other various tics and tacks about the game there. And other than that, that's pretty much it. That's today, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching the, second devlog, I guess, yeah. I'll be back next week with more. Show off some exciting new mechanics, get into a bit more nitty gritty detail, but that's the journey so far, so thank you so much for watching. Cheers.